Hello, I'm Angela with Living Well today. And today we are talking about small wonders, big joy. Finding happiness, cultivating happiness, creating happiness out of the ordinary things of life in order to elevate your day-to-day experiences, your experience of the here and now. And how does happiness happen? We're talking about that. We're talking about some of the science, some of the things that happen in your body when you are recognizing the small wonders. And there's this wonderful quote from author Robert Brault, Brault, and I would recommend that you look at some of his nuggets of wisdom. I mean, really incredible, insightful writer, human being. And he says, enjoy the little things because one day you may look back and realize they were the big things. And I might take that one step further and suggest that why we're talking about this right now is that not looking back, not having to look back and say, oh, I didn't understand at the time. We're working towards understanding now so that we can really appreciate and learn ourselves the strength and the courage, and even sometimes, yes, the ease at which we are at the wheel and in charge of our own choices and our own emotions, thoughts, feelings, which all add up to our experience. When you do have a choice, you have a choice of how you're experiencing something. So, but it's a muscle. It's a muscle. I had this conversation the other night with a dear friend that said courage is like a muscle. You know, if you want more courage for a really big thing, practice courage in little things. Practice the courage it requires some to always tell the truth, no matter what, no matter how big or small. Practice the courage to be truly who you are and your voice. And if you're here living on planet Earth, by the way, you're alive. Certainly if you're here with me right now, whether live or on replay, you have courage. You are doing it. You are. You may not codify it as such, but you are. Sometimes people think acts of courage are some grandiose, huge leap, and they can be. And that's what this friend needs right now. She needs to muster more courage, perhaps, than she's ever had before. But what I suggested to her comment to me was, I'm scared. I said, yeah, of course. It's a big deal. I would be concerned if you weren't. Go back and codify all the little times that you were courageous. And try not to, if you can, discount them. Oh, that wasn't that brave. Oh, that really wasn't that courageous. The littlest of things. Journal about them. Codify them. Recognize them. Shine a light on them. And before you know it, you'll have more courage because you'll remember. And that confidence that came out of that competence gives you to muster more, gives you the strength and the capability to create even more for what's ever to come for you. So the very same thing is true for happiness, for creating joy. And we're going to talk about some simple tips and tools, things that you can rely on, focus on, give energy to, that will help you put the foot in front of the other on creating big joy out of the smallest of wonders. So let's talk about how does happiness happen? Let's go a little bit into the science real quick, and we'll talk about this in relation to mindfulness, which we talk about often. How does happiness happen? So you may have brewed a pot of coffee this morning, and part of that experience is the aroma, right? I just launched a private, really high-end, beautiful brand of coffee for Mariposa, my lifestyle brand that is in the blooming stages. And it's beautiful. It's harvested. Everything is done in the same day and bagged and shipped, drop shipped the same day. So no sitting in warehouses collecting the mold, the toxins, the things that can come out of coffee. So it's beautiful. I'll share in the post maybe the QR code that takes you to the website, because I'm in partnership with someone who's doing it and they've created something for me. So it's wonderful. So I have two blends of coffee. So I totally digressed on it. That was not why I used the analogy, but it worked out. So brew a cup of coffee this morning. The aroma, the smell of coffee actually triggers, because it's one of our senses. So sensory is a big way to get into happiness and joy. It triggers different hormones. It triggers serotonin, which I've got a few different in dopamine and endorphins. So they are all triggered by different things. But let's say, for example, the dopamine. Dopamine is a happiness hormone. When it's released in your system, it elevates your happiness. It elevates your joy and ease and comfort. Boosts your mood. That's why it's called a happiness hormone. Each one of these are happiness hormones. So triggering a reaction in your body to actually support you in then feeling better. Small wonder, big joy. So some say, well, I don't like coffee. Okay. Is there a favorite tea or favorite fresh juice? We'll talk about rituals and why, if you're into beginning juicing or how you do your morning routine, that ritual, that there's great joy. You can find great joy in the most ordinary things. But it isn't ordinary to you, is it? It is a ritual. And rituals to me are routines. But to me, when I say ritual, I engage my emotions and my attention and intention around what I'm doing, so that it becomes special. Another example, a child's laughter. A child's laughter triggers one of your happiness hormones. Your fur babies, the petting of fur, right? That comfort and closeness. A big hug, physical affection certainly elevates. Now, I live alone. I work on my own. So it's not like I could walk up to a stranger on the street and ask them for a hug, but I hug myself. I wake up. I did it this morning. I wake up and I give myself a big hug and a big pat and say, good job. You're here again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's going to be a beautiful day. Because one of the other aspects of how happiness happens is through your self-talk, is through what you're telling your brain and your body. So the words, listen if you can to my different weekly videos on words, how words matter, and word of the week. And if you can begin to filter the words you say outside of yourself, because your brain hears what you say, whether you say it out loud or whether you think it. So if you can begin to actively filter your thoughts with greater love and kindness, first to yourself, and then to whatever the situation or circumstances that's happening. And in the case of a morning ritual, or sitting down and lighting a candle and journaling, or out on the golf course or the tennis court, or wherever you get certainly all those hormones pumping through physical exercise, your endorphins elevates your mood. All studies have shown the happiness hormones, um, dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins uh, definitely play a massive role in how you experience your day to day. And you can trigger them. You know, it's bit by bit. It's right here. I have this. I'm going to give them a little grassroots natural market. I was there this morning, and they have the best smoothies ever. They're all natural. This has dates and coconut milk, banana. It's wonderful. It's called Coconut Heaven, and it is all of that. Pineapple. I'm following an Ayurvedic. I've mentioned this the last couple of weeks. It's a very big part of my life now, so it's tough not to mention. But it's actually, I love to mention it because it could be if you suffer from acid reflux, if you've had any issues with inflammation, arthritis, IBS, anything gut related for sure, allergies, issues with gluten, etc. Ayurvedic it's been a game changer for me, and it's only been a short time. It's only been a short time, and I've lost 12 pounds, and I'm not taking my reflux medicine. And my allergies still, I haven't completely, but my whole experience, my energy feels more even keel throughout the day. I don't have those big surges and big crashes as much. It's really interesting. And you have to find out it's if it works for you, and everybody is different. Every body is different in how you respond to different elements, temperatures, foods, liquids, etc. I also have done 0 alcohol in the last, it's going on a bit. Maybe over a month, because all of May. Yeah, so over a month. Wow. And I don't drink a ton of alcohol, but I like some wine now and again, maybe a few glasses a week, 2 to 3 glasses, 4 glasses of wine a week, if that. But on occasion, I would go out with my girlfriends and have a martini or something like that. And I'm not saying for you, but for me, for now, I feel better. I just feel better. I think my body's thanking me. It's rewarding me by losing 12 pounds. No, but I had that, after menopause, a lot of women, or around menopause, a lot of women get that, that retention of all of that stuff in their gut and their abdomen, and the inflammation and things just not metabolizing and moving as well. And within a course of like maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks, not a long time, that was gone. It's amazing. It's amazing how quickly your body can heal when you get out of the way. Okay, so routines and rituals, we talked about that, but the long-term benefits of noticing small wonders, your attention. This is all linked to mindfulness, because noticing the small wonders and appreciating the small wonders is really an act of being mindful, being intentional, being here in the present moment. Because it's tough to be really loving a small wonder and be upset or anxious or angry at the same time. That's hard to do. You'd have to really work at it to do that, to achieve that. So mindfulness. So what are the long-term benefits of noticing the small wonders, of being mindful, around the most otherwise ordinary things? Well, it does help you stay focused. Studies have shown mindfulness increases your attention span, increases your staying power, your energy throughout the day, helps you set healthier boundaries because you're more self-aware. That's a function of being mindful. Your blood pressure goes down. Your stress, your blood pressure goes down because your stress goes down. I'll tell you a quick story. I shared this once before, I think, so maybe you didn't hear it. So I was rushing. I thought I was running late for a doctor's appointment. And I don't enjoy being late to things. It's okay for some people and they're on their own schedule, and that's okay. I enjoy being on time, keeping my word, being my word. I said I'll be there at 10. And if I'm not there at 10, it does, I get, I have learned how to expand time, how to breathe into it, and expand it. But nonetheless, human, like everybody else. So I was running behind. So I rushed. And for whatever reason, God working on my side, I guess, the universe, I got all green lights. What would normally be, stop, go, I got all green lights and it was hardly any traffic. I ended up getting there like 10 minutes early for an appointment that wasn't until, let's say, 10:30. So now I'm 40 minutes early. Right? Well, okay. So what can I do? I can answer emails. I can do other things. And I think I went for a walk and I came back and 10:30 turned into 11. And by 11:15, I was pretty worked up. Now I was already a little bit worked up from this, why I went for the walk, just to release it, let it go. But I went in and she said, they apologized. Things happen at the doctor's office, we all well know. And she took my blood pressure. And when sometimes the cuff doesn't take it right away and it squeezes harder and harder and you're like, holy crap. So she actually had to release it and then do it again. Well, by the time she did it the second or third time, and I also think she was new, by the time she did the second or third time, it said my blood pressure was like 156 over 90 something. I am steady as the day is long on my blood pressure. I was like, what the heck, right? What was the accumulation of just that 30 minutes to an hour or so, or hour and a half before that? So she said, well, I'll come back and take it again in a few minutes. And I said, well, what is a few minutes going to do? She said, you'd be amazed. Just lay back, breathe a little bit, and think about something that makes you really happy, or a place that you were, or on a beach, or whatever, just somewhere serene, peaceful, in a hammock. I think she said in a hammock, on a beach. Okay, I can do that. I'm a good imaginator. And so she came back. Now, it wasn't as low as I might normally be. I'm normally 118 over, 68 or 70, or 122 over 72, whatever, right? And I think it was 138 over maybe 88, 84, something like that. So it had definitely dropped, and it was just maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So sitting there and imagining and breathing, being present, you can conjure your own happiness. You can. So by practicing, so how can you get mindful? Well, I just explained to you there, imagining a peaceful place, feeling into a place. You can sit in the moment and say, okay, kind of go through, what am I seeing right now? What taste do I have in my mouth? Is there anything nearby that I can touch? What does that feel like? I've got a wooden heart here. What does that feel like in my hand? It's cool. It's smooth. soft, nice. Yeah, yeah, heavy. This is heavy. Um, that's mindfulness. I know lots of people imagine it's sitting in the lotus position and meditating for 3 hours or something. It that can be it, sure. But mindfulness is almost more of an active practice. It's like it's mindfully eating. So when you're eating, you're tasting everything that is in your mouth. Going, oh, that's different. Oh, I like that taste. Or really just moving slowly through it. I've dined with people before where they're done in like 10 minutes. I'm like, how did you enjoy that? How does your body even have time to begin to get the digestive juices flowing? And how can that be enjoyable, right? When you eat that fast. And some people, like this one gentleman used to tell me he grew up on a farm. And the farm hands would come in early in the morning for breakfast. And if you didn't, there would be 10 people at the table. And if you didn't inhale it, if you didn't grab and inhale it, you didn't get it. It was gone. It get eaten by somebody else. So, so there are reasons for it. But maybe, you worked on a farm when you were young, 35 years ago. Maybe you might consider shifting that. You don't work on a farm anymore, right? So I get old habits, old patterns, but that's what living well today is about. There isn't a single human being on the planet that has walked through life that couldn't utilize or leverage more mindfulness or a shift upward in their experience and outcomes. That's why we're here on planet Earth. You wouldn't come if you didn't have a mission to learn something. That's truth. So you're here to learn. You're here to learn how to love. You're here to learn how to create. You're here to learn to serve others for wherever they're on their path in learning and creating and loving. So that takes new habits. The Ayurveda is new for me. Like this coconut heaven comes with mango. And you'd say, well, mango's innocent enough. It is for lots of people. But for right now, for where I'm at, and wanting to be off my acid reflux medicine, wanting to have just total stasis in my system, mango is not my friend right now. Doesn't mean it will never be, just for right now. So sitting there and really looking, took me an hour and a half at the grocery store last night. Not because, and I'll get smarter with it and easier, and I'll start to learn more and more of the products. Not because I filled my grocery cart to the top, but because I took the time to honor what it is that I'm spending money on to put into my own body. And I will tell you that 9 out of 10 products had chemicals and toxins in them. Now, I'm not saying I am not of the mindset, because I have a client who says, is just so into it, is so afraid of not, this sounds funny. He would never say he's afraid of food or afraid of life. But this is the world we live in, and this is what we have. And we can take mindful steps toward moving towards better and better. That's why it took the time that it did me last night. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to, at some point, maybe walk to the corner shop and have Wits ice cream, which is the best soft ice cream in the world. And I'm not going to sit there and pick it apart in my mind about whether it's good or not for me, or what does it have in it, right? Because I'm doing no cow's milk right now, only sheep's milk, not even goat. Coconut milk, almond milk, not oat milk, because I learned oats not great for me right now. So just taking the wheel of your own well-being. To me, taking an extra second to say, would you mind substituting banana for mango in that? That's just a second. But I was on, in that second, I was conscious, intentional, honoring my own healing. And I have not lived that way in lots of ways for my whole life. I haven't been that mindful about food. I love eating great food, great tasting food. But did I always understand what was underneath it? No. But that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna go to a friend's house and when they're gifting me with beautiful food, I'm going to eat it. I'll be mindful of what I eat. But I guess my point with that is that you can swing the pendulum in 180 degrees the other way, and you can walk around and pick everything apart and maybe buy into the fear mongering that a lot of the wellness coaches online profit from, making you afraid of your own food, of your own culture, of your own country, of your own backyard, of your neighbors, of making you afraid or feeding that fear. They can't make you, they can feed it, they can support it and encourage it. So if you come up against something, and the small wonder of looking at whatever is on your plate is saying to your body, no matter what is in front of me and what I'm able to eat, because maybe you were only able to afford X or Y or Z. It's tough to buy grass-fed anything or organic because the prices are high. Maybe start with one thing. Just try your organic fruits. They're still sprayed. I talked to someone who was an organic farmer, and their list of what they can use is still quite long. Some of them, not all of them. I'm sure some of them go the extra mile and don't. But it's still significantly less than the list of what regular farming allows you to do in terms of the chemicals and fertilizers. So you look at your small wonder, your small plate, and you say, body, this is what I have. This is what I have to eat. Work with me. Work with me. And start cultivating that relationship with your own body. I pushed myself away from mine for a long time, obviously, metaphysically speaking. I pushed away from it for a long time. I didn't listen to it. And now, in having conversations with myself and with my body, I'm learning more and more. It's a little bit daunting at first because it seems like, how can I not have olives and olive oil? I mean, love. How can I not have cheddar cheese? Well, guess what? I can have sheep's cheese that's based on sheep's milk. And it's so yummy. Manchego cheese. It's so yummy. Oh, I've discovered all sorts of new things. So that self-talk is also, because I could say, oh, I can't have this and I can't have that. And I could dwell in that place. And I'm going to tell you, frankly, the first week or so, I did. I'm like, oh, well, what the heck? If I can't have that, I can't have this. I can't have olive oil. I can't have garlic. I can't have, right? Then I started realizing, no, instead of saying I can't, I can have manchego cheese. I can have pineapple instead of an apple. I can have green beans instead of asparagus or artichokes or Brussels sprouts. And those are all really good. Don't get me wrong. I love them. They're really good for some people. For me, again, I'm just saying for where I'm at and following for my state and just trying to do a total reset in my system, my bloodstream, my cells, everything. Those just are things right now that I'm choosing not to partake in and replacing them with other things. So that's been a beautiful, big joy. It's been big joy. Yes, I love the thinner waistline. I love that. But I love how I feel. And I love that I'm nurturing this relationship with my own body for the first time and in a real way, in a consistent way, for a long time. Okay. So your routines and your rituals, there's magic there. Take a look at the routines and rituals that you have in place already. And even if it's just brushing your teeth, can you take your toothbrush out and give yourself a big smile with all the, be a kid for a couple minutes in the mirror? Um, can you hold the hug a little bit longer? Can you do mindful walking? So we talked about mindful eating. What about mindful walking? It's a form of meditation. And it's the act of gratitude, of appreciation. And gratitude, for sure, has been directly linked to improving happiness, levels of happiness, and how people experience life. Gratitude. So write it down. What are you grateful for? What do you appreciate? And then active appreciation as you go on your walk in nature. Take your shoes off, get grounded, feel the earth, the soil, the things, just again, the senses. Do you know, interesting fact, your feet, I've been learning more and more of this over the years. I've always known it on some level, but not to this extent. I'll tell you what I did. So I was at my friend's homeopathic wellness spa. It's the top one in Jacksonville. She does a beautiful job. Falli. You've seen her on the show. I've had her on the show before. And in fact, I'm going to be working with her because she wants to come out a little bit more in terms of her videotaping and sharing her message and her teachings, her wisdom. Deep. This woman has deep wisdom. And she wants to share that more and more because, she's been a hands-on healer for so many years. It saps of the energy after a time. Running any kind of retail-based business where you're there all the time, and then add to that she's continuously, she does facials and massage, and she does different things aside from her energetic healing, etc. And she's a little bit tired, and she wants to write a new chapter. She wants to learn something new. So I'm going to be working with her on presence and being able to communicate. It's just a strong Indian dialect. So learning sometimes how to perhaps slow a little bit or finish her words more slowly. And there will be an aspect of her that it doesn't really, on some level, doesn't totally matter, because I was just talking about this with a mentor of mine, Ken Honda, who wrote Happy Money and is just this beautiful human being. His native tongue is Japanese. And yet he is on his videos and in his audiobooks, and he's doing it. That's courage. To speak in someone else's native language about something so profound and keeps it simple and happy and light and easy. And he's so loved, So I'll work with Falli on all of that, but her being her is really ultimately what will connect, and the courage for her to be her in all ways. Just like the courage for you to show up here or to pick a new ritual or to shift up in your self-talk and filtering of your words in a more positive, supportive, empowering way. So your rituals, whether that is how you get ready in the morning, just the normal, ordinary things of functioning in the world, you can create rituals around the simplest things. The journaling, lighting a candle, walking in nature, that can be a ritual for you. That act of appreciating as you walk through nature, that can be a ritual. Making a smoothie in the morning, selecting just the right ingredients, and each one feeling like, I just put in more love, I just put in more love, I just put in more love. So then when I'm drinking love and good stuff, yeah? And that shift. See, some people would look at this and say, it's a cup of fruit mashed up. Yes, it is. But for me, it's something way more than that. It represents total life shift and transformation and how I'm supporting my body and my higher self as a result. And it's letting old ideas go, that I've got to have a breakfast. I've got to have a, no, maybe not. Right? So this represents, and just knowing and intentionally making sure I know each of the ingredients that goes in it. And I say it's coconut heaven. Yes, yes, yes. I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. That's love. And so then you feel better with each sip. And that's how happiness happens. In the moment, in choice, in selecting your own way of thinking about something that's otherwise ordinary. Make sense? I hope it makes sense. I just want to make sure that I don't have any other points because I wrote a bunch of stuff down. That, yeah, ultimately, I'll finish it the way I started out. Small wonders, big joy means elevating your day to day experience. And as you elevate your moments, seconds, moments, they become minutes. And then those minutes become hours, into days, into weeks, into months, into years. And whether you are 25 or 75, do you want to be here having the experience you're having right now? Or do you long for, do you desire, do you need to cultivate more happiness for a finer, more joyous experience? Because the choice is yours. The choice is yours. Even those who have said that they have been imprisoned for many, many years, they found a way to keep themselves whole inside. So even in the worst of circumstances, you can begin to train your brain because of the thoughts that you think and the words that you say out loud or to yourself. You can begin to train your brain to experience, and your body to experience, that situation differently. And so to those who say, what a horrible world we live in, I see the horrors, although I mindfully recognize they are there and release them out of my own thought stream, because I can't stay empowered. I can't shine my light as bright enough as I might like to help remedy, because one person affects the whole. One person affects the whole. This little much, this little bit, and then the next, and the next. So in order for me to do and be and have joy, I must be it. And I'm not able to be it if I'm focused on horror, horrible, awful, terrible, torn apart. You feel already my body starts to go shrink and get smaller, which is much of what the media and some of the people in the political realms would like to have us do, is shrink to be smaller and smaller. When if you mindfully cultivate your own light, your own being, tend to your own garden, and I have said that for 15 years, your own backyard. I saw an Instagram video yesterday. This little girl was trying to get herself out of the safety seat, the child seat. And you maybe have seen this. And she's struggling and she's struggling. And the dad leans in and says, do you want me to help? She says, no, I get it. I get it. And her dad says, well, what would you like me to do then? I'm standing here watching you do this. What do you want me to do? And she said, worry about yourself. And she doesn't even look up at him. Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. Because the dad said, what? She said it again. She said, worry about yourself. So worry about yourself. And if anything, not worry, but tend. tend to yourself. And that's why you're here with me. So congratulations and bravo to you on that. Bravo to you to having the courage to make the small wonders big, big joy, for living well today. I'm Angela. Blessings to you, friend. Much love and bye until next week.